Welcome to Firearms of America. Today I wanted to talk about yet again a Glock, specifically Glock Generation 6 and what to expect. Now there's a lot of conversation going on online considering the more or less recent releases from Glock. If you heard, there's Glock 46 that has been released I believe in 2019 and Glock 47 that has been released probably right around that time, closer to the 2020. And there is conversation, there is speculation of the features that were implemented in the Glock 46 and the Glock 47 being implemented in the Glock Generation 6 models. Now keep in mind, usually Glock releases new generations every like 9, 8, 7 years. The previous release was in 2017 when the Generation 5 came out, so we should be expecting the Generation 6 to be somewhere around 2024, 2025, maybe even 2026. So what are some of those speculations that people think that will be implemented in the Glock Generation 6? Well, let's start with the Glock 46 that was released. It's not available to the public. It was released specifically for a certain unit somewhere in Europe, in Austria, for either military or law enforcement. But the most notable difference, upgrade, whatever you want to call it, is the twisting barrel. And you can actually find the patent that was made by Glock, that was filed back in doesn't really matter, for a twisting barrel. And when I say twisting, it's you're looking something at like Beretta Storm. If you have never seen a twisting barrel, check out my review on the Beretta Storm. That gun has a twisting barrel, and actually it's a pretty cool idea, pretty interesting compared to the tilting barrel. It twists, so you have a little bit less recoil, definitely more accurate because you don't have that tilt at the very end when the bullet leaves the barrel. You have the twist, so it's a little bit of a different feel. Do I think that this is going to be part of the Generation 6? Probably not, and I will try to explain why I don't think that. Now in the Glock Generation, not the Glock Generation, Glock 47, also not available to the public. What was changed really, one of the only really things that was changed there was the sights. Instead of your typical standard Glock sight, and this is nothing in the magazine, nothing in the chamber. Instead of your standard Glock sight, now they are using a 3-dot sight. I believe it was from Trijikan, however you pronounce that. The Spanish version or American version or Uzbek version. Trijikan. Nah, I'm just kidding. So that I think is a pretty cool update. All right. Anyway, that's all the speculation. What would we really like to see from Generation 6? Well, I can tell you what I really like to see from the Generation 6. I think if it would be implemented, it would be absolutely fantastic. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with those changes or not. I'd really like to hear your opinion. Okay, let's start from the very beginning with the grip. One thing that I would really like Glock to implement in the Generation 6 would be a more aggressive stippled grip, something closer to the hand stippling. And you can see those very, very similar, it's still a laser work, but it's very similar to a hand stippled grip, to a raindrop hand stippled grip on the new Smith & Wesson Shield pistols. Fantastic grip, really, really good, probably as good as you can get on a polymer frame. And that is not hand stippled, okay, that is a laser work. So I would really like to see something like that on the Glock Generation 6. Another thing I'd really like to see is a little bit of a more defined magwell. For example, again, Springfield, not again, you see I told you I confused the Springfield and Smith & Wesson for whatever reason. Springfield Their newer XDM Elite guns, they already have a very, very defined magwell right out of the box on all of their models, on the concealed carry models, on the combat models, and I think on the Glock it would be just fantastic, because think about it. You're buying a Glock, one of the main upgrades that you would do is a magwell. So instead of doing that, why not just have a magwell? Now, another thing that I would really like to see on a Glock Generation 6 is the ambidextrous, just normal ambidextrous mag release. Now, why am I saying that? Why is a possibility? I think it might be one of those things that they might implement, because if you remember, the previous generations did not have the ambidextrous slide release, and now on the Generation 5 you do get an ambidextrous slide release. I don't remember if it was on a Generation 4 or not, but I know that Generation 3 they did not have the ambidextrous slide release. Now you do. So why not just do everything ambidextrous right out of the box, so that if you are a lefty, not a leftist, lefty, you take it out of the box and there you go, you're ready to go. I'm sorry, I need to work on my left-hand grip, but you get the point. So far, more aggressive, closer to hand stippled grip, magwell, ambidextrous mag release. Obviously the slide is already ambidextrous, but speaking of the slide release, this is another thing that I would really like to see in a new Generation 6 Glock. Please make the slide release more extended. This is really tiny, really small. I think for combat situations as a sidearm, it is much more practical, it is much more combat friendly when you have a nice extended mag release that you can use both as your thumb support for a proper grip. Again, riding the slide release, keep in mind your slide is not going to lock back on the last round, which is completely fine with me, really not a big deal. I'd rather have a better grip on the pistol than worry about this locking back on the last round or not. But just for quicker and easier operation, something with more of where you are able to kind of get a catch on the slide release. I would really like to see that. Okay, so trigger, I'm sure a lot of you guys would appreciate finally a little bit of a better, more refined trigger on the very last stage. And I think this is one of the main areas. If you guys work for Glock, if you're from Glock and you're watching this video, this is one of the main areas where Glock is now is behind a lot of other brands out there. Think about this. Canik, Turkish brand, small player on the market. Well, now they're getting bigger and bigger. Unfreaking believable trigger in the most entry-level pistols. Alright, those triggers, they blow this trigger out of the water. Just how easy and how refined the trigger pull is on them. Springfield XDM Elite. Unbelievable trigger. 6-hour P320 or M17, M18, however you want to do it. Fantastic trigger. Smith & Wesson Shield, all of them, all the series. Excellent trigger. All of them better than your Glock standard trigger. And that's why you see people online in the forums, they talk about polishing the trigger, they talk about completely replacing the trigger assembly, because it could be much better. And I really hope to see in the Glock Generation 6 them finally doing a good job with the trigger. Alright, another thing that I would really like to see in the Glock Generation 6, speaking of the slide, okay, we're kind of starting from the bottom or going all the way to the top. In the slide, I would really like to see a lightened version of the slide. Okay, this is good, but it needs to stay behind, right? Ported slides, just overall lighted, more ergonomic, more just so that it's easier to carry, it's easier to handle. Nothing wrong with this slide right here, don't get me wrong, I still like it. But once you do the cutouts, once you do a few ports here and there, it works just as reliable, just as good, but it becomes just so much more pleasant, all right, to shoot and to carry, to handle overall in general. Now, sights. That's another thing that I really like to see an upgrade in Generation 6, and I would speculate here that we will see upgraded sights in the Generation 6. I don't know, I don't work for Glock, but I think we might, just because the G47, Glock 47 that they released specifically for whoever they released it for, some certain military unit or police unit, they implemented those Trigicon 3-post normal 3-dot sights, just standard normal 3-dot sights. And also on Glock 19X you also have a normal 3-dot sight. Let's just do a 3-dot sight so that we don't have to replace them. That would be really nice, especially if they were night sights. Fantastic. This is, I think, very, very important. Now, I'm not gonna completely leave the topic of sights, but partially we're gonna move on to the barrels. I would really like to see in Generation 6 lineup an option, just like they did with the MOS. I would like to see the option with the barrels being threaded. Please, Glock, please start making threaded barrels. And going back to the sights, if you are making a threaded barrel, make sure that that model with the threaded barrel comes with the silencer ready sights, tall sights. Doesn't matter if you have an optic MOS or not, just tall sights, so that in case if you do have a silencer put on, you have your tall sights that are over the silencer. So the very last thing that I would really like to see in Glock Generation 6, and I think you guys gonna appreciate it too, and I'm gonna finish up this video, is the new, however you call it. I've seen a few different names for that, and you guys know I'm not a fantastic on the terminology. Nothing with the magazines, by the way. Magazines are great. Just don't make 10 capacity magazines in the Glock 17, please. Not anymore. Screw California. Let them freaking fix their laws instead of complying with all that garbage. Anyway, so the disassembly. I mean, this is good. It works, right? This pulling these two things down and removing, and it could be better. It works, but the new modular disassembly system that you can find on your 6-hour M17 M18, on your Springfield XDM Elite, they all have that. Basically, it's the lever. You lock back your slide, you raise the lever up, and everything comes up. It's so easy, it's so good. This is okay, but in my opinion, this is definitely way outdated. And Glock, I know you guys to keep things as they are. That's why one of the reasons, like I said in the beginning of this video, I don't think Glock's gonna come out with a twisting barrel, because it would just drastically change everything, and that's not like Glock. I think they will keep it the same, tilting barrel, which is completely fine. But those updates that I mentioned, they are straightforward, they're simple. We are already making them. People who buy Glocks, who use Glocks on their carry, whatever, they already implement those aftermarket upgrades. And right now for a Glock, it is becoming harder and harder to compete with companies like Springfield, companies like Smith & Wesson, even Canik, because you get all of that out of the box. And you buy this, you love this, but you have to spend now additional $500 up to $1,000 in order to make it the way you want it, when you could have gotten it all out of the box in Springfield or in Smith & Wesson or in 6-hour or in Canik. There are plenty of options out there. So Glock, I hope to see those upgrades in the Generation 6. You guys, thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Do you agree? Would you like to see something else? You know, guys, your opinion is definitely matters to me more than freaking anybody else's, because you guys are watching this video, so I really appreciate it. And hope to see you guys in the next video.